older, years and years and years passed, and Mom got harder and harder and harder. She drank more and more and more. And I wondered at times if she had resisted God so long that He would have put her away to the point of not being able to repent. And to tell you the truth, I got a little weary of praying for her because she was so difficult. She is the most difficult woman I've ever known. I promise you. I could bore you for hours telling you stories, but I won't. At the same time our first grandchild was being born in North Carolina, my brother called and said, Mom's in the hospital, and it's very serious. Well, I prayed that night. Remember, it's our first grandchild. And I prayed that night, and I had this overwhelming sense that I needed to go to Tennessee where my mother was. So I told my wife the next morning, I said, we lived in New Jersey at the time. We were down in North Carolina visiting our daughter and her husband. And I told my wife, and this is very unusual for me. I'm not a mystic. I don't hear God's voice. But I had this overwhelming sense of what I should do. It was to the point where I had to go. So I told my wife, I said, I'm going to Tennessee. I have to go. She said, goodbye. I'm staying here with our grandchild. So I was gone a few days, and I prayed. I said, Lord, Mom may die. Her heart is very hard. Would you soften her heart? Would you show her the seriousness of facing eternity lost? On the third day that I was with her, it was Sunday. Most of my family belongs to an unbelieving, unregenerate church. And so I knew that they would go to church and I would be alone with Mom in the hospital. And I prayed again on the way to the hospital that morning, on Sunday morning. I said, Lord, please do something that only you can do. When I got to the hospital, Mom was staring. I said, Mom, what are you thinking about? She said something I'll never forget. She said, eternity is a long time. My mother never said stuff like that. I said, Mom, are you thinking about the fact that you're about to go into eternity? She said, yes, I am. What do I do? And so I told her the gospel one more time. And she prayed to receive Jesus Christ. And she was saved the old-fashioned way. She wept. She had destroyed our family through divorce and all manner of immoral living. And she wept over that. She said, I've done so much wrong. I destroyed our family. And I was able to explain to her the depth of the forgiveness of God. And my unbelieving uncle showed up at the hospital, and Mom starts telling him about her redemption. She starts telling him about Christ, and I'm thinking, this woman has truly been changed. She did not do that. Okay, the point of the story, dear ones, is that God may give up. God may put someone aside who's hardened their heart, but you and I never know when that is. Do not give up praying. Don't be like me and give up praying. God was faithful according to Himself and not according to my faith. God was faithful. 8 days later, my mom passed into eternity. And her funeral was very different than we thought it would be if she died lost. I was able to preach her funeral, and it was the greatest honor of my life. Don't give up on people. I tell you that to encourage your hearts. God will judge sin, and He will put aside hard hearts, but we never know when that happens. As far as we're concerned, as long as someone is still breathing earthly air, they're a candidate for salvation, aren't they? Well, it's close enough to 9 o'clock to go home.